You guys spammed me to plant 20 million trees on Twitter, Reddit, all over my comment section, so I made it happen.
Today, we will be planting 20 million trees.
When I mention grapplers, I bet your brain jumps to Bane for his crazy damage and power. Or maybe you think of Kotal Khan or Shiva from Mortal Kombat 11. However, if I'm being honest, the most creative grappler by far is Swamp Thing. And even so, he never gets the respect he deserves for it. So today, let's discuss how amazing Swamp Thing is in Injustice 2. If you love grapplers or Swamp Thing or just fighting games in general, then make sure to leave a like down below, and without any further ado, let's get started. So for starters, can we just talk about Swamp Thing's animations? They are absolutely amazing. The guy is growing entire forests as he attacks you. Not to mention he has easily the best crouch animation in all of fighting games. Okay, maybe the second best animation, but you get my point. This character has amazing animations. So not only is his gameplay very unique, but so are his animations. They're absolutely stunning, and I love how creative NetherRealm got here. But now let's talk about the command grab, starting off with Green Thumb. He picks you up and then he puts you down, but this move has 4 different options once you grab the opponent. For example, if you press square, you will restand them with a tiny bit of damage, and if you restand the opponent, that means no wake ups for them, and you're also +1 on hit. Now for mid-screen, that's not a very big deal because Swamp Thing can't reach the opponent in that short amount of time. However, once he has you cornered, this restand becomes one of the scariest things in the entire game, because since he is +1, if you go for any attacks whatsoever, you are going to get counter hit. And once the opponent understands that, they're going to start blocking a bit more, but guess what? You can just tick throw into a second grab, and the mix-ups just don't stop. Getting cornered by Swamp Thing is one of the scariest experiences in Injustice 2. But then what happens if you press triangle? Well, you grow an entire tree. Look at that, we're Mr. Beast out here just planting trees and making the earth a better place. Swamp Thing players love this command grab for 2 reasons. For one thing, it switches sides. So if Swamp Thing himself is in the corner, well guess what? Now the opponent's in the corner, and now they gotta deal with all these crazy tick throw setups. And then to make things even better, this option is +24 on hit. So if Swamp Thing is already close to you, you have to deal with them on wake up. In fact, even from mid-screen, being +24 is not half bad, so if you're fighting somebody with some lousy wake up options, this can be a great command grab throw. But what happens if you press 3? Well, you get a damaging slam to the ground. In fact, this is his most damaging way to end combos. However, it's not very advantageous on hit, and it also leaves a lot of space between you and the opponent. And as a result, this might be one of Swamp Thing's least popular options from this command grab. However, just like most things, this move gets much better in the corner because look at that, there's no pushback. So a very damaging ender, and also you're left very close to the opponent. So once the opponent's cornered, this can be a great option for ending a combo for maximum damage, especially if the opponent's right next to death's door. However, with that said, in most situations, pressing square is still your best option because once again it restands them, so no wake ups, and you're +1 on hit. And don't worry, we're still not done because when you meter burn this move, Swamp Thing gets some health back. But that's not the end of the move because after meter burning, you can still do whichever option you want to end the command grab. So not only are you damaging the opponent, but you're also healing yourself in the process. Talk about adding insult to injury. If you're playing Swamp Thing and you have a little bit of meter just lying around, you can always grab the opponent, heal yourself, and then end the combo like normal. So as you can see, this command grab is absolutely amazing. You can restand the opponent in the corner, you can switch sides if you're cornered, or you can go for good damage and even heal yourself in the process. It's so versatile. And then for the cherry on top, this move can't even be ducked under. Sometimes in NetherRealm games, you can crouch to avoid throws, but not this throw because it hits mid and not high. If you don't believe me, just check out Superman right here. He's definitely ducking, and I can still throw him every single time. So if he wants to escape this command grab, he has to either backdash or jump. And that's a scary thought because this command grab has some pretty good tick throws. You can do it after down 1 or down 2, and even his overhead 2-1. And that might be the scariest mix-up of them all because you already have to stand up in time to block the overhead, but even after you block that correctly, the command grab might be coming. But if you jump because you're scared of the command grab, then he might just kick you. So as you can see, this command grab is very amazing. It's got great functionality, and on top of that, it just looks amazing. Once again, a very creative grappler. But then we have his second command grab, which is just as crazy, and its name is Vine Grab. Look at the range on this thing. That was the short version, then the default version, and now here is the far version. Look at that. He can throw you from almost full screen. However, with that said, keep in mind the player has to aim it correctly because it's not the vines themselves themselves that grab you, it's where they end up. And even though I've played a ton of fighting games, I can't think of any grappler that has a command grab like this. I think this might be the most unique command grab in fighting games. However, please let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, because I love learning new things about fighting games, especially grapplers. As you can see, one of the scariest things about this move is its range. In fact, its range makes it perfect for ending combos. For example, take this basic combo after a 4-3. It's nothing crazy, but it gets the job done for a decent amount of damage. And then best of all, whenever you land this command grab from any distance, it always sets up the perfect range for his default version. Or in other words, every time you end a combo with this command grab, you can go for the same command grab again. And if the opponent's not ready for that, then they're gonna get thrown over and over again. And as a result, the opponent might be tempted to backdash because that will avoid the default version. However, here's the thing, the far version is perfect for catching backdashes. So if the Swamp Thing player knows you're gonna backdash, he can just do the far version and still grab you every single time. And once again, it's the exact same setup because the spacing is always the same. But next up, let's talk about the meter burn option. So for starters, it does a good bit more damage, and as a result, you might be tempting to spin the bar for a bit of damage at the end of combos. In fact, in the corner, that can be a very good idea because the meter burn version is also much better on hit as well. Let's check out the exact frames. Look at that, it is plus 16 on hit. Once again, green thumb is usually a better option because it restands, which means no wake ups, but if your opponent does not have any good wake ups, then a knockdown can be just fine. And we're still not done because the meter burn option also allows you to switch sides. So if Swamp Thing himself is cornered, guess what? Now you're in the corner, and that is terrifying because now here come all the command grab setups. As you can see, this move is quite amazing, and as a result, the opponent might be tempted to jump, but I would advise against that because this move does have an anti-air version, and the range on it is not half bad. And just like every other version, this throw puts you at the perfect distance for his regular vine grab, and then on top of that, you also have the meter burn option and all of the advantages that come with that. In fact, if you actually want to avoid this move, then the best option you have is ducking, because this command grab is actually a high, unlike green thumb. And you know what? I think that's completely fair, because when you have a command grab that can reach almost full screen, being able to duck it seems completely fine. However, with that said, be warned because Swamp Thing has some amazing overheads that are great for starting off combos, so crouching might be exactly what he wants you to do. And next up, let's talk about Swamp Thing's trait, because this makes him a much better grappler as well. Whenever Swamp Thing walks forward or backwards, he places flowers on the ground, and when the opponent stands in these, they take a tiny bit of damage over time, and they're also not able to jump or backdash. And that's a terrifying combination because, as mentioned earlier, green thumb hits mid, so you can't even duck under it, and now you can't backdash or jump either. In situations like this, your only real option is an invincible attack or an armored attack, because otherwise you're getting command grab. And like you already guessed, this move gets even better in the corner, because not only is the opponent always standing inside the garden, but it also gives armor to certain special moves in Swamp Thing's arsenal. And as a result, wake ups are no longer a good option, because Swamp Thing can just armor through them and then combo you and start the mix-ups all over again. And also keep in mind that Swamp Thing can combo into and after Abigail's garden, so not only does it make his command grabs much easier to set up, not only does it damage the opponent as they stand in it, but Swamp Thing can activate it mid-combo and keep pressuring you with more mix-ups. And keep in mind, originally this move did not give armor to special moves. That was actually a buff that NetherRealm gave Swamp Thing later on. And one more very nice buff that NetherRealm gave Swamp Thing was his teleport. Before, whenever he did this, the plants would stop growing, but as you can see, that's no longer the case. Look at the stage just covered in flowers. This buff was a very good change because this teleport is one of Swamp Thing's best tools for dealing with keep away and zoning, and as a result, he can now counter keep away while continuing to grow his garden. Now, I bet to a lot of you, Abigail's garden seems completely broken, but keep in mind, if Swamp Thing gets hit without using an armored move, this garden goes away completely. Or in other words, this trait requires a lot of skill and responsibility. And I also wanted to take a quick moment to talk about BioFission, because sure, it's not a command grab, but it does make Swamp Thing a much better grappler. And that's because this move is plus 15 on hit, which makes it great for setting up command grabs. In fact, it's also good for tick throws as well, because you're so plus on hit that the opponent can't duck under your high attacks. Look at this, normally this high attack can be ducked under. However, after landing BioFissure, that's no longer the case. The opponent has to block both hits of this string. And then once you have the opponent scared of tick throws and other setups of that nature, you can go for slower setups like this overhead. So as you can see, BioFission is great for setting up tick throws and other command grab setups of that nature, so it does make Swamp Thing a great grappler. And then on top of that, this move is oddly enough your go-to way for extending combos. So without this move, Swamp Thing would be a much weaker character. And then last but not least, we have to talk about the super, because this move also makes Swamp Thing a much better grappler, because as you can see, it tracks the opponent's location, which makes it great for countering zoning and keep away, which is very popular in the Injustice series. Now as you can see, the damage isn't very high, but that's not a big deal because Swamp Thing's combos already hurt quite a lot. And as a result, he doesn't need a super that does a ton of damage. In fact, even when you combo into it, the damage is often not worth it, so its main function is counter zoning and anti-keep away. And that's a very good tool to have, because when you're fighting a smart keep away player, they're gonna see that you have enough meter for super, and they're gonna be a lot more cautious with their projectiles. They're not gonna use nearly as many, which means Swamp Thing can slowly make his way in and go for his command grabs and all those nasty setups. So as you can see, I was not exaggerating when I said Swamp Thing is the most creative grappler that NetherRealm has ever made. His attacks have amazing animations, and they're also very unique and fun to use. I honestly do hope that NetherRealm makes more grapplers like this in the future, because they really nailed it with Swamp Thing. If you enjoyed this video or simply love Swamp Thing, then please leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then make sure to finish that combo by suplexing that subscribe button. That way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.